Faces.
Hello, welcome back to the Three Faces of Fantasy on this wonderful Tuesday. Going into week 4, you got Mojo to my
Jay the
right.
True.
And you
Jay the
got the
True.
guru over here, the guru with the intro.
All right, we're going to kick it off like this. All right, fellas, we back here. We coming out of week 3, going into week 4. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that had some problems this week, while we had some people that probably put up a lot of points across the leagues. How'd you guys look this week? Last week, so to speak.
I didn't do too bad. I went 5-4-1. 5-1.
That's
So-
not bad.
Yeah, I had a bounce back. Last week I went 8-5. This week I came back to 10-3. So
Well,
Much
I
better
had kind of a flat line again, 4-4, and the leagues that I'm most concerned with, obviously, are those money leagues, and I got 2 money leagues that I'm 0-3. So it's time to make some real bounce back, a real turnaround. I'm going crazy over here, guys. It's really getting me. I got studs that are not studs. They're actual real girls, I guess.
let's get this guy's team right, Jay. True. Let's
Yeah,
get this guy's
I
team
need
right.
some more faces on my fantasy
Let's
team.
get his team right.
Yeah, we might have to have an intervention for them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a off day, offset, meeting of the minds, because something's not working. The formula's not working. I don't remember the last time I started the season 0-3 in more than one league at that. So
We had to get your equations right.
yeah.
Physics together.
Because honestly, in a couple of those leagues, it has come down to just starting one player over another. So let's get into that. There were guys on my bench this week that put up points that I had kind of, was waiting to see what was going to go on. I'll tell you, Mr. Njoku showed up. Who showed up this week for you? How about that?
Ooh. Chris O, New Orleans rookie, New Orleans wideout rookie. I played him in a few leagues, not in all of them, but he definitely showed up and showed out.
Probably won you your week, huh?
Oh, definitely, most definitely.
Did you have him in the league that I played you?
Yeah, I did, and those 53 points was looking real sexy on the bench. Fortunately, it was not needed.
Yeah, he got me by 7 points. That was where I had Mr. Njoku on the bench in favor of Mr. Knox, and Mr. Knox got 8, and Njoku had like 38. And so yeah, that was definitely a difference there. But I hadn't seen Njoku do anything up to that point, so that was my reasoning behind starting Knox.
Understandable.
But I don't know, Knox hasn't done that much either. He had one decent week, but outside of that. What about you, True?
Well, I didn't have any. I can't think of anybody that really went off, but everybody did pretty well. That's my strategy for balancing the team. Barkley, Barkley showed up in the late game. I was waiting on him for a win. He did it for me. Jalen Hurts has been showing up every week so far. Hope he can keep it up. But I really had. Well, what a surprise was Amari Cooper. I had
saw that.
I had Evans in a few, in a few leagues, so I had to switch him out. And I played Amari. I wasn't happy about
Nice.
it, but he earned my trust. He earned my trust. I like, he's a great route runner, and I'm seeing that Brissett, does have some skill to. We'll see if he keeps up, but I think with the way he runs routes, he can probably keep up a pretty good stat line.
Okay. All right. Quick shout out to the con man, Mr. Concierge. Yep, cool. We're just gonna call him the con man tuning in. He's just giving a shout out to the three faces. But yeah, I was happy to see Mr. Devontae Smith turn up and turn out this week, because I was kind of in a position where I had to play him. Although he, the first week he had 0, last week it was okay. I was definitely glad to have him in there this week. He definitely complimented a couple of lineups for me.
Yo, speaking of that, do you remember I threw a trade out there to you? Somebody was trying to give me DJ Moore and they wanted Devontae Smith. And I remember one of y'all, I ain't gonna say his name. I remember one of y'all saying, yeah, you got to get that because DJ Moore is a 1 and Devontae Smith is a 2.
That was Junk Phil. It was like he's Mr. 1 for 2.
Yes, you're right. That's why I'm pointing out there in YouTube land or stream land. Yeah. And of course I did not pull that trade off. I kept Mr. Devontae Smith, but I was like, man, on a high octane offense, nah, I'm gonna keep Mr. D Smith.
Concesio, okay, I got it. And then
this might be why we have to have an intervention with some people.
Yeah,
some of these decisions.
I actually in that same league I played Devontae Smith and McLaurin, and obviously they were playing each other. Neither one of them had a bad day. Obviously Devontae had a career day.
Right.
He had a career day. So what McLaurin did was good. It was good enough, and in that league, I actually blew my opponent out. Shout out to Cortez. You got the business, baby.
I think I remembered a trade you acquired Devontae Smith for Lazard, I believe.
Yeah. Was it Devontae?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the same logic. That same person, Junk Phil. Shout out to my boy. He said Lazard was a 1 and Devontae was a 2, and hey, who am I to argue with him? So gave him Lazard, and he's still on his bench. I think he may be playing him this week out of necessity because he had.
Remember, we had that conversation about Lazard, and Devontae. We were talking about it. Really came down to personality. I mean, Lazard. I think Dobbs is going to end up being the 1 over there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Even though Lazard, he'll be good. I mean, he'll have some real good games. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that alpha mentality.
Yeah.
Devontae has a little more of that, and I think that Jalen Hurts at this point he can sustain both of them.
Right.
AJ and Devontae, where they can put up points every week.
And Goddard at that,
And Goddard.
And
they haven't even really been playing second halves.
Right.
And to me, I mean, everybody has their opinions on it, but to me, it's really they haven't had to. The defense has been playing so well. They've been resting, they've been keeping everybody healthy. But I think when they have to play those he's been putting up over 300 yards in the first half. When they really have to play, I can see him putting up 4.
And I'm thinking about something you said Sunday. You were saying that, if you're up by 3 touchdowns and you're going into the third quarter, they're coming out, like you say, offensively a little more conservative, like just, not necessarily blowing the doors off, but it becomes possession football. You just want to run the ball, run the clock out, maintain that lead. I think, like you say, if they come out of halftime and it's a tie score, they're probably going to play a little more aggressively. But like you say, no need to at that point.
I mean, and you think about your opponent. I mean, if they were playing KC, I could see him, keeping the gas on in the second half. But playing Carson Wentz, you just sacked him 9 times. I mean, you think your defense can hold them down. So, but if you were playing Pat Mahomes, yeah, you better keep scoring.
Right.
I just think that they haven't had to. But what you think, Guru? You got a lot of Eagles on your teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like my Philly cheese stack, except for Miles Sanders. But yeah, so I I got Jay in a few weeks. I mean, in a few leagues, and he's been representing very well. AJ Brown as well. Even Goddard got off for me. I got a little nervous when Goddard came out of the game for a minute. I think he had a shin injury, but he got back in the game. I need to make sure, just keep an eye on that. But definitely, Philly's offense and their defense is complementing them so well. They're putting them in great positions. That's the cool part about it, is that when the defense turns the ball over, they giving Philly that whole field for Jay Hurts to just play with. And he's just slicing the dice and all the way to the goal line. And sometimes he'll give it up to somebody else, and sometimes he'll do what he do and scoot right on in for 6.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then we had a lot of those stud running backs, those top picks in your drafts that kind of showed up. We had Mr. Barkley. First week he did great. Last week not so much. This week he's back. King Henry looked back to form. McCaffrey looked back to form. So, what do you guys think about these backs? And is it sustainable? Are we looking at what the rest of the season is going to look like, or are they just fooling us in week 3?
Go ahead, Guru.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely are. And then, but you also got to take into consideration some of the injuries that we have, especially with D Cook and Madison to become a thing. And then you got Mr. Swift that's going to make Jamal Williams a thing. And then even in Chicago with that guy, that running back person. And then that's going to make Khalil Herbert, I'm not going to say his name, but that makes Khalil Herbert a thing. So, it's going to be interesting what's going on, but definitely those first guys, it's about time. Some of them showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I took a chance on McCaffrey in the league, and he's been fairly consistent. He put up 100 yards past 2 weeks, and I still think he has a long way to go. I think they're just not, I think they're just trying to, for him, that's taking it slow, from what the load he's used to. So, but he's been okay. He's been doing his thing. I mean, he still puts up numbers like better than any other, backs I can put in there. I'm a little upset with Mr. Eckler.
A little. He had 4.
He lost a game or 2.
He had 4 handoffs, 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half. If he didn't get those dump offs, man.
I thought he was hurt. I literally was like, where is he and why isn't he getting the ball at all?
Nah, he needed to be injured doing that, not even hurt.
Yeah. He needed to be on IR or something. I literally couldn't find him. I'm watching the game and he just was not there.
But you know what, Mojo, when you brought that up about selling high, and we're talking about backs, let me throw out 4 names to you guys and see what y'all think about selling high. Mr. Cordero Patterson, Mr. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Devin Singletary, and Chase Edmonds. If you are an owner on those guys, are you selling high on them or are you going to ride with it?
Patterson and Helaire, I would probably ride with.
You think that's sustainable throughout the season?
Patterson, yeah, I do. Just because their offense is not much else going on. So I think you're going to see. Yeah.
Wait, are you just going to dump on Mr. Drake, Leonard, and Kyle Pitts showed up? Come on,
Kyle Pitts showed up.
They're hot garbage right now. That's just a personal take on it. Hilaire holding on to him. Yeah, Singletary. Yeah, I'm selling high.
I don't know if
Give me a quarterback out of him, you know.
Man, I don't know if CEH. I don't know if that's sustainable throughout the season with CEH, but you know, time will tell.
Just when the thing with them is their offense is so dynamic. There's so many weapons. There can be weeks that he does nothing, but there can also be weeks that he's there. You know, the go-to back, the workhorse back.
You know, he's only getting like 10, 11 touches.
Yeah, that's why I didn't draft him in leagues where I expected to use him outside of a bye week anyway. You know.
I'm usually out on CH just because of Andy Reid. You know, Andy Reid.
That memo.
Andy Reid's one of those coaches. You don't know if his backs will even touch the ball in certain games. So, but I'm ready. I'm ready to drop Chase Edmonds.
Wait, no, don't drop him. You can probably sell him for something right now. I mean, it might be a sandwich, but you can sell him for something right now.
I have him he's in a 10 team league that I have him in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a 3 wide receiver league at that. The backs don't get much bonuses. So I mean, I'm just looking at, but honestly, I'm looking at his usage. I mean, I already got 2 touchdowns this past week, but it didn't look good.
Right.
Didn't look good for either of their backs, truthfully. But I'm not going to drop him though, but I'm ready to.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I'm a little concerned with, I thought that Mr. Fournette would have more of a role in that game considering all the weapons that were missing. So that was a little disturbing to see him not do much. But he's not going anywhere. I'm starting him every week regardless.
Right. Well, you got to think about it. If you're the defensive coordinator on the other side of the field or the coach on the other side of the field, and Evans out, Godwin out, Julio out, and they basically had to drag Cole Beasley in there, what are you going to do? I'm going to put 8 in the box. I know your offense is going to probably run through Leonard Fournette, so I'm dropping 8 in the box, and you're not going to be able to run through here. So, and that's kind of what happened. So yeah, don't fret, Leonard Fournette. He got you.
Got you. What about J.K. Dobbins? Jay and I had spoke about him, even before the season. And now he's back. He comes back, got me a smooth 11. Woohoo! What you think, Jay? Is he is that just because he's just getting back?
Well, I think you're the only one who played him on his first day back. That's what
yeah. Hey, J.K. didn't even play himself in the league that he's in.
But man's been out for a year.
Yeah, over a year.
And you just throw him in like, no. I mean, I think he's a wait and see,
brother.
I threw him in over Melvin Gordon at that.
Yeah, he's a wait and see for me. I mean, I think he looked good as far as watching him run. His energy. It looked like he was just. But he has to get. I'm going to wait for him to get a little more comfortable. I might play with him in one league this week. He got his feet wet last week. He looked like he was ready to go. So I can see him maybe doing definitely a little more than last week.
Yeah, like you said, give him time.
Yeah, I mean, he got to get himself ready for game action. Even full practice, but it's nothing like being in the game.
Right.
He got to get his breathing right. He's got it's a lot more. But like I said, he did to me. He looked quick. He looked like when he first started, like his rookie year. So I just want to make sure his body holds up
before you throw him in that starting lineup.
Because I don't, and the reason for that is I don't have to start.
Right.
If it was a league where I was light on backs, I may have to, but the leagues I have him in, I don't have to start him at this point. But
gotcha. You sold on J.K. Dobbins? You starting him yet, Mel?
I have no
Guru?
shares. No
No,
shares.
0 shares. Gotcha.
I have no shares on J.K. Dobbins. None
Well, I
was.
might have to sell him high to you then.
I don't know.
I told you I need a quarterback, brother.
Yeah, but I also believe the number one running back in Baltimore is Mr. Lamar.
Lamar. Yeah, pretty much. So since we talking about Lamar, let's go over these quarterbacks. Which ones fail? Which ones show up? I know we mentioned Mr. Hurts. A couple of surprises this week.
Oh,
Mr. Mahomes.
Yeah.
That was a little different than what we're used to. Is that something that we can expect, multiple times this year? What was the recipe to slowing him down? That's what I need to know.
There was rushing, and then think about it. You're not really intimidated by his wideouts. You got Kelsey in the middle, and then the co-part. And the thing about it is, you got Kelsey in the middle, and even if Hilaire catches out the backfield, that's in the middle as well. So you kind of take that same approach that they did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what the Green Bay did against Tampa, where you can just put 8 in the box, and then you can just attack Kelsey and Hilaire out the backfield in that same manner. And if Juju will get his, you can live with that. And I think MBS is still on the milk carton, so nobody's really worried about the wideouts, and it's going to take him. I think he's going to have to go back to the Patrick Mahomes of 2 seasons ago, where he uses his legs and his mobility a little bit more and start improvising a little bit more.
Okay.
Well, I'm not worried about him. Week 1, 360 yards, 30 completions, 5 touchdowns. Week 2, well, it was good. The Chargers. I don't know. It's definitely something going on. Week 3, he did 262. Give him one of those completions, one of those long completions done, he'd be at 300 yards. He did 262 this week. So, but he didn't throw. He didn't have many complete. He only had 20 completions, but he ran a little bit more. I don't think he was terrible this week. He wasn't the Pat Mahomes we know that we look for, because we're so used to him throwing 5 touchdowns and 300, 400 yards. But not a whole lot of quarterbacks that did worse than him. Did better than him.
And what I'm thinking is, they've been pretty dominant for a number of years now with him at the helm. Is it possible that the case can be made that some of these teams are figuring out how to game plan for that offense a little better, especially like Google was saying, without the weapons like Tyreek Hill, being there? Is it a little easier? Do you just apply pressure to him like any other quarterback?
Yeah, it makes a big deal. Without Tyreek Hill there, you're looking at Kelsey, and you're not too worried about everybody else.
Right.
Juju is not Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, you could definitely do a cover 2 defense. You can keep zone. You can keep everybody in front of you. They can get the short under. You were worried about that with the cheetah, because he get the ball in his hand, he gone. Juju get the ball in his hand, you could probably blow at him and he'll pull up and he'll stop. So you good.
He's playing Tampa Bay this upcoming week. He probably won't look
another good defense.
Yeah, he won't look too hot then.
Come on, Mr. Mahomes.
He's got some tough situations coming up. Tampa Bay, Raiders, Buffalo, and San Fran.
Woo-hoo, yeah, he about to get the business.
Murderer's row.
So what we're saying, if you got Pat Mahomes, you might want to sell high now.
Hey, I know. Now there is somebody that stood out that I liked, and I suggest that you might want to consider putting him on your bench, especially for those who have that week 6, 7 bye coming up. 8 might be too long to hold on to him, but that's Mr. Trevor Lawrence. And quietly, no one's really discussing him. But did you
His
see
next
the
3
offense?
weeks are cakewalk.
Yes, exactly. 5, 6. Well, there's no buys in 5, but yeah. 5, 6, 7. He has a nice schedule, and he's definitely somebody to put on your bench to hold on to.
Yeah, I've been looking at him. I'm looking to, put him on the bench. Hopefully, I'll see if I can get him. I'm looking at between him and Golf.
You read my mind. That was next on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed I'm in a couple of leagues that have Jameis Winston on the wire.
Yeah.
In most leagues, he's probably picked up, but I am in 2 leagues at least that he's on the wire. I have him in 3 leagues. I actually started him a couple of times already this year. He's actually been very serviceable. Even like last week, he had the same amount of points as Lawrence, and he had like 50 points. And he's in a losing effort. He's losing, but he's still he can throw the ball, and New Orleans has some real weapons, especially with Kamara back, and just having the full complement of receivers out there. Yeah, Michael Thomas out there, the young guys. So he's got quite the arsenal. So if he's on the wire in any of your leagues, he might be worth a look-see too. Because it really doesn't matter the matchup. He's gonna be throwing the ball.
Just don't watch the game. Just watch.
Don't watch the game.
Don't watch the game.
Like it. Don't become a Saints fan. Don't become an Aints fan because you will not be happy.
He's definitely a bad watch. You'll be nervous.
Yeah. Is this gonna be an interception?
What'd you think about Kyler Murray? Is he gonna get it together?
Ooh.
Yeah. When does D-Hop get back? Week 6?
There we go. That's what Jay said the other day, because I was about done with him. Like, this dude, he's just not doing what I'm accustomed to, because I had him last year, and it just doesn't look the same. But he was saying he don't have Hop out there. And
the only difference
can I hold out that long with this guy? I mean, I got to take a look at his lineup. I mean, what the schedule looks like over the next 3 weeks. Because it's getting difficult. I'll say that. It's getting, I'm expecting 60, 70, and you're getting 30, 40. So it's still not bad. He seems to make up some points at the end of games, but it's garbage time at that point. You're not even playing to win because you're down by 10 with a minute left, and then you get a 60-yard pass that takes you to 250 yards or whatever. But yeah, I'm a little frustrated by that little guy.
Yeah, I
think the main difference between him and Patrick Mahomes. What's the difference other than Travis Kelce? Neither one of them have weapons that you utterly afraid of. Hollywood is about the closest thing, and they're both mobile quarterbacks that have not been putting it down and running. And so that's why you draft those guys. It's for the mobility. You don't draft them to be Brady. You draft them for the mobility. So
right.
That I think that's the part that's missing out on it. And then the offense is not good, and and the defense is worse, then you got a problem. It's a bad equation.
And the team is actually better when they bring it down and run. The other difference is he's like a foot shorter than Mahomes, probably.
Only a foot?
Now I'm just being petty.
He's been that his whole career, but he doesn't look like this. Right. It's definitely Hop he's missing.
Well, he got Dortch.
And I'm not getting any production out of Connor either, so I don't know.
But Connor came off an injury, so that's why I didn't have him.
No excuses over here, buddy. No excuses.
True that.
But if Connor's not getting anything, then that's more reason you got to get out there and run. Do your best Lamar impersonation, Mr. Murray. Something. And honestly, he's not the reason I'm losing that league, because he actually is still getting decent points for me. It'd just be nice to see the kind of points I was getting last year.
Yeah, boy, we're gonna have to figure out why you lose and
yeah.
It seems like you keep trying to bring up people
that's up
on these teams.
Before you try to blame
who else hurt you? Who else been hurt?
Before you try to blame the players on the field, remember the coach had to put them on the field.
Yeah, so I'm blaming Mr. Fournette Okay. Mr. D Metcalf. I don't even know why I start that guy every week. I'm just like, he's too big. Because to me, he's just like AJ Brown. They're like the same receiver. You're huge. Throw that man the ball. Feed the beast, you know? But so far, it's not been successful outside of week one. Other than that, it's just other than that, like Guru said, it might be some coaching. Like those first 2 weeks that I didn't start the Buffalo defense and I could have won both those games. I dropped the Cleveland defense, by the way, so I don't even have to worry about that no more. I stick to my word. I'll drop them. I'll drop them. And then I lose anyway because David Montgomery got hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Stop blaming it on the players, Coach Mojo.
Hey, I didn't break David Montgomery's knee. You know what I'm saying?
I just say for those people that are in the deeper leagues, that are in real deep leagues, or even in the 2-quarterback league, don't forget you still have we talked about Goff already, but I know Mariota let you down, but Mariota, Matt Ryan, Tanner Hill, and those are people that you can probably look for this upcoming 2 weeks if you're in a deep league or a 2-quarterback league.
Yeah, my 2-quarterback league, I'm looking for a 3rd quarterback so that in the bye week, I'm already ready. I don't want to wait until that week to get a replacement. Because right now I have Lamar and Hurts. So I'm like, no, Lamar and Murray, Kyler Murray. So Lamar makes up for whatever Murray is deficient in most days anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I need a third. And
I'm trying to figure out why you starting Jameis Winston. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Cause man, he's been putting up points this year, yo. I can't be mad.
He's been putting up points, and it's a good pivot when you got Chris O as a wide receiver coming out here and representing. Even when Michael Thomas went down, when you got Chris O live out there, and Jameis. And that's the one good thing about people like Jameis and like what Kirk Cousins is supposed to be, but like with Jared Goff, even though they're not a tier 1 quarterback, you got to remember if they have a tier 1 receiver, that dude is throwing him the ball, so he's gonna get his. He might get a pick or 2, but he's still gonna get probably 3 or 4 tubs. So I'll take 3 or 4 touchdowns versus 1 or 2 picks any day of the week.
Yeah, and I'm not I'd start him out of necessity because I don't draft quarterbacks really high in most leagues. So it's like, okay, I drafted Russell Wilson. Like, yeah, he's gonna be all right. He'll be serviceable because Russell has been consistent for years being serviceable. And then I had Jameis as backup. Now, who's been playing better? So, yeah, did we talk about Russell Wilson? Or was that before the show?
I think we did a little bit.
Yeah, that was before the show. Now we're in the show. First of the year, okay? Sell low, buy, don't buy, sell low, dumping. I'm putting him on the wire. I'm at that point. I'll take whoever's out there. Give me Jacoby Brissett. That's how I feel about Russell Wilson.
Hey, he looked nice.
Right.
He looked nice.
I never used to draft Russell Wilson, to be honest. When all those years he was in Seattle, I don't think I ever had him. Might have had him once and then traded him. I just never liked his style of play. And now it's put on full display that, it's not a good match. I don't think that he fits there. I don't think it's a good fit for him.
Right. Well,
and I'm tired of it. It's 3 weeks, bro. He's done.
And there's no bias there.
No. Sound like bias.
Yeah, the bias is he need to buy us some points. What you mean?
That was
buy a touchdown.
That was nice.
He hasn't done anything.
Russell Wilson, week 1, 340 yards, 1 touchdown.
1 touchdown.
Week 2, 219, week 3, 184. Okay.
That's a big dump off. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, he's trending this way quickly.
I believe he had 10 10-yard line opportunities and got nothing out of it. And I will say, I know we're not talking about kickers, but that's why I like McManus.
Yeah, I got McManus in 2 leagues. He definitely helps.
Wilson will push it down the field. He just won't cap it off. And I know a couple of those was Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon getting stuffed at the goal line and fumbling, but at the same time, you got to punch
That's
it
got
in.
to stop too.
I believe in Russell. I think he just him and Sierra having issues right now. He's not focused.
Hey, Tom Brady having issues with his wife, but he not out here looking like a sucker. You know.
So
We're gonna stop talking about your teams, Mo. All right.
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? Let's just pivot on wideouts. Yeah, let's pivot over to the wideouts.
Yeah, the wideouts.
Carolina, Mr. Carolina. What happened to your guy? DJ Les.
DJ. Yeah, big things are coming. You know, we got to rely on Robbie Anderson a little bit more.
Okay.
But
so who would you rather have rest of the season, DJ Moore or Treylon Burks?
Oh, Burke. But that's because of the quarterback situation in Carolina. I said it before the season, Baker was not the answer. Seemed like they have two of the same quarterback to me. Like that's why they were like, yeah, Arnold or Baker. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really matter. Neither one of them are gonna be that catalyst to make this team that much better. They did get a W this week, finally. So they're 1-2. So hopefully they can gain some momentum from that. And maybe with Baker, maybe it's more of a getting comfortable in the offense, kind of the same way we talked about some of these other quarterbacks. So if he can find a rhythm with these guys, and it just doesn't look very exciting outside of McCaffrey, to me.
Yeah. Okay.
What's going on with DJ Moore? He's not hurt? Yeah, one catch this week.
How many targets? I think it was only 2 or 3, maybe 4. So
yeah, I mean,
he can only catch it when they throw it to him.
Right.
Actually, he has 6 targets,
which is problematic too. So that's is it that the ball's not getting put in the right place? Like I said, Baker, and I think Baker has to probably start getting out on the run a little bit. He's another one that's going to have to start bringing it down in order to win games, because he's obviously not getting the ball to these receivers. You got McCaffrey out there doing everything, which he has for the last few years, but that's why he keeps getting hurt. So we need those other weapons to be effective.
Now, Sam Darnold is on IR, correct?
Yeah.
Does anybody know where Cam Newton is?
Waiting for the call. That's at home waiting for the call, bro. I don't understand why they just, dismissed him completely anyway. But he hadn't looked the same for a couple of years. Really since that Super Bowl year. I don't know what happened, but it just broke him. He got broken after that. And the word is now he just can't play to the same level.
Yeah. We didn't really want him to come back.
Well, let's pivot.
What receivers really? So we talked about Devontae. He really showed out. Who else showed out this week?
Dobbs. Well, Dobbs, I think, is up and coming in Green Bay. I definitely think if you don't have Michael Gallup, you should go ahead and look into picking him up. I know Amara St. Brown had that leg injury, but he should be okay. So we'll see. If not, it kind of makes DJ Chark or Josh Reynolds look more Josh Reynolds, make him look a little bit more attractive. In Baltimore, you got Rashard Bateman, 2 for 59. He just missed a long TD. And so you got some guys out there.
Yeah, and he's had a great start to the season. So if he's on your wire, pick him up. Same thing with Olave. Like, where did you come from, guy? He had a monster week.
He was draftable.
Yeah, he had a monster week too.
And then, so what do you think about Eli Moore? So this passer, so he has 10 targets. He is close to a touchdown, but it still seems to be not. He still doesn't seem to be number one out there anymore. So, what do you think about him? And with the upcoming quarterback change, you think he's going to get back into the greats? Is going to get those money targets, or are they going to go to the rookie?
Who is it? Who was that again? I didn't hear you.
Elijah Moore, Jets. Elijah Moore. You know, he was a favorite in drafting. You know, he was a.
I don't pick Jets players. I mean, don't get me wrong,
bro. Jets be okay.
I don't have any Jets players, and I never have had any Jets players.
Jets be losing.
I'm thinking about
losing.
Don't get me wrong; they don't look bad, but now are they going to be switches? So now, Flacco.
Somebody hashtag that for me. Somebody write that down.
They have a quarterback change coming up, right?
Yep.
So you don't know what to expect. I mean, I think to keep Flacco in there. If they kept Flacco in there, I might look at Conklin, you know. But I don't remember having any Jets player. You know what? Last Jets player I had was
okay. Well, I hear you. I hear you, Truth. I hear you. So all right, well, let's just skip that New York team. Let's skip that New York team. How about the other New York team? May I now interest you in Kenny G?
No.
What do you mean? All right, here you go. Here, listen. Shepard is out for the year, or Shepard is gone.
Yeah.
Tony, they don't like Tony. They just don't like him. I don't know what he did. If he, I don't know, dated the owner's daughter. I don't know what he did, but they just don't like Tony. They don't recognize the talent. And Richie James, he's more of a, like when you have that piping and you got a hole in the pipe and you got to put the tape around it just to hold it together for a minute. That's Richie James. You sure you don't want the $96 million Kenny G? Nope.
The problem there is the offensive line is terrible, sir. So it doesn't matter who the receiver is. First of all, the quarterback's going to be on the run, throwing it on the run. I mean, he had like almost 100 yards last night. The quarterback. And it was because there were some really big gaping holes for him to run in. So it made sense. I think his longest run was like 17 yards. That just shouldn't happen But in the downs where it wasn't wide open like that, or even if it was, everybody's covered, and he has nobody to throw to. So he's on, and the line breaks down, and he's out of there. So I'm not buying on him. Nope.
No, I was just messing with y'all. I like to get you riled up.
They don't like throwing the ball. Period.
Right.
Daniel Jones, week 1, 188, 25 rushing. 176, 21 rushing. 196 this week with 79 rushing yards. No. Well, I'm not buying. Only first person I'm buying to on that team is Saquon.
Well, let's keep it in the NFC East. We were going over Dallas. So in Washington, you got Mr. Curtis Samuel. That was everybody's hot waiver wire pickup, and he's going to be your saving grace. And then he went 7 for 10. 38 yards. I understand he was playing Philly's defense, though. So is that an outlier? You think Curtis Samuel is real? You think that Dotson? You think that – and notice I don't even mention T-Mac. So what do you think about Washington's wideouts, that situation, and the Carson Wentz experiment?
Well, to me, that's a rough
NFC East.
To me, that's a rough one. Because, see, this is the thing. Carson Wentz can look terrible. Yeah, he got sacked 9 times. But then Carson Wentz will come out and throw for over 3. It depends on the day and how whatever's going on with him and in his life. Some days he plays football, some days he doesn't. But I will say, well, T-Mac had over 100 yards, even against the Eagles, with 9 sacks. And I'll say Curtis Samuel still the issue with Curtis Samuel, he'll run the ball too. I actually played him in the league and he didn't do bad. I mean, did he get a touch? I don't think he got a touchdown, but he gets a lot of targets and he also is part of the run game. So as far as my fantasy physics, as far as part of the equation, Success equals usage, targets, over time. He's in the game and he's getting used. So whether they suck doesn't matter because he still put up points. Especially I'm talking about the PPR league. He touches the ball too much. That's why he's so coveted. You know, you could be on a bad team and still put up points.
Yeah, and I'm not going to devalue the receivers in Washington according to that game, because as we know, the Eagles' defense is pretty stout. It's no joke not to be reckoned with. I can't gauge them, and like Jay is saying, they're still going to get targets. Him and McLaren, they're going to still get targets. So. Yeah, I'll let that one go. 9 sacks. You wouldn't expect any of the receivers to really have much at all. 9 sacks and really almost scoreless throughout the entire game. So yeah, I'm not devaluing them. I still have Samuel. I picked him up a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to hold on to him. I'm stashing him on the bench, but for bye weeks, yeah, I think he'll definitely be serviceable.
Well, I think a couple of waiver wire picks was Zay Jones. We talked a little bit. He had 29.5%.
Yeah, he had a good game.
He had 4 TD looks, and then also Isaiah McKenzie. Although he's the third option, it's one of the highest offenses in the league. So he's definitely a look, and he definitely spreads the field and helps out Josh Allen. And then Josh Reynolds again. If Amara St. Brown is hurt. And it's more, serious than some time. You got to get him and Dobbs. It's probably the number one pickup right now in Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm liking that. Dobbs is, Aaron Rodgers seems like he likes him.
Yeah, and you know him. If he like you, he gonna feed you the rock.
Yeah,
I mean, do you know how many? You know how many drops he had?
None.
Exactly.
0.
Quarterback's favorite friend.
Right. Catch the ball.
All 8 for 8. So.
Yeah, that's part. I gotta add that to the equation.
Yeah, that's definitely part of the equation.
Consistency and reliability. Yes.
Yeah.
I add that to the equation. But
yes.
Speaking of Dobbs and Rodgers, what about Mr. Tongan, Mr. Tight End, Mr. I think I might be back? Are you sold on him or not?
And tight ends are scarce, but nah. I don't think the targets are going to be there. That's just not in that offense. That's not what he does. So,
well, I mean, we know other tight ends. You like David Njoku. We already know about that.
Oh yeah, he's going. I'm getting him in my lineup this week instead. I'm so tired of Knox. Knox is another one. I just want to drop this guy anyway. We're not going to talk about my squad though.
Did you? Right. Yeah, never mind.
Because we already see the problem with your squad.
Yeah, they keep losing.
Why is my bench outscoring my opponent?
Right. What the hell? What's going on, man?
The coach is the problem.
I don't like it. I don't like what you're implying here, sir.
Well, other tight ends to keep an eye on Logan Thomas.
Yeah,
and you got Conk against Conklin. But we discussed the quarterback change, so that might not happen. It was nice to see Mr. Kittle showed up. Well, not really. He went 4 for 28, and Zach Ertz, 45 yards, I think. So, and what did Waller do? I know Waller. Waller. He was all right. But tight end is ugly.
People always rank Waller in the top, top 4 or 5. I don't place him that high. He's not consistent enough. That part of that equation, that consistency, he's not consistent enough. And I don't know what's going on over there with the Raiders, but win a game, guys.
Well, I mean, all right, Waller. Yeah, 79 yards the first game, 50 yards the second game, and a touchdown. This was really his only bad game this season.
But he's going down from 79 to 50 to what? What do you have this time?
Yeah, you don't like the trend, but
right. And then in 2 weeks he'll probably get turf toe or something.
And here's the thing: wasn't he supposed to be injured at the beginning of the season or injured / contract talks, whatever it was?
That's what I'm saying. That's when
I was more nervous about him. and so I should be feeling more comfortable with him. And Devon, he should be producing because Devontae Adams is attracting more attention. So, Mr. Waller, what's going? And not to mention
for where he gets drafted, typically, I would never take him that high.
Well, yeah, I don't have any shares of him, but also take into consideration they don't have what's my man name? The number 2 wideout. I just lost my brain. He's out. Hunt Winthrow. I couldn't say it because I couldn't pronounce it, but Hunter Winthrow, he was out, and Matt Collins took over. So that should have been time for Waller to eat, but instead he decided to push away from the table.
We got Cool McCain wanted to remind us that Gesicki has a good week every other week, however you pronounce his name.
Yeah. Mike Gesicki, yeah.
So he's out there. You might want to grab him. And he was telling you Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, Gesicki, he's right.
Cool for tuning in.
Gesicki is a spaghetti. You got to throw it against the wall, see what stick.
Yeah.
Or when it'll stick.
Well, Pitts showed up finally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's looking good.
Yeah, there's a couple of tight ends out there that if the quarterback realizes that the tight end is a receiver too, and throwing the ball, they would be much more effective.
So how about Jelani Woods?
It's been a lot of conversation about him. I mean, the dude he's huge. He's like huge. He's like an oak tree. I mean, they're like, hey, put a jersey on their tree.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I gotta wait and see. I gotta wait and see. I mean, after all, I did drop the David Njoku in week 2, so I gotta wait and see.
Yeah, you're right. It's just he's just so big. I could see them using him. Touchdown situations. But like I said, it's no telling what he's going to do. I just hate to wait and he turns into something. But I didn't see he didn't have any air yards, so that's what kind of puts me out on him at the moment. He got the 2 touchdowns, but they were within the 5-10 yard line. Other than that, he didn't really see much.
Yeah, it's like touchdown or bust.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one tight end I did expect to see something out of this week was Cameron Brate out of Tampa Bay, missing the top 3 wideouts, dragging Cole Beasley in there. Russell Gage had a nice game, but I really thought Cameron Brate was going to get a little bit more, especially since the O-line's beat up. Brady got to get rid of the ball quicker, but it was just a moderate.
How many targets did he have? Because I remember seeing Brady throw to him a couple of times. I know a couple of them were out of his reach, but yeah, I expected more out of him, particularly this week as well.
You got that truth? With Cameron Brate?
I have it in a second. He must not have much.
He all the way down at the bottom.
You don't have to be disrespectful with the truth, all right?
Because I was just thinking, I'm like, Cameron Brate was not on my radar. Like, but
not for the week. I was saying for the week. Yeah,
I can see him being on the Tampa Bay fans' radar, but I didn't. Yeah. He did all right this week, though. 52 yards, 6 targets, 5 receptions. He did all right this week. But the first 2 weeks, 3 targets, 2 targets.
Right. So as those receivers come back, his targets drop back down to 3 and 2.
Yeah. Mike Evans will be back this week. I need him to come back.
God. I know.
Yeah, that could have been the difference in the game against Green Bay, definitely. Even if one of those. He tried to get it to Beasley. Beasley is that slot guy, that run around, that Welker type guy. He's not the the deep threat or the breaking multiple tackles, all of that. Nah.
Or the difference could have been to know how to get the playoff, not get a delay game. That could have been the difference.
Yeah. and no illegal receiver downfield, which they've been calling that a lot this year across the league. I don't know what's going on with that.
Haters, just haters.
Yeah. So
So
we left here with
DST,
teams.
huh?
DST. We're gonna talk about DST. What DST you got out there? What DST?
I mean, you gotta have a DST.
Yeah, you gotta have a DST.
Gotta have.
You gotta have the defense.
There
I mean,
shouldn't be any good defenses left on the wire. I did pick up and play Chicago last week, and they didn't do bad. The Eagles, obviously, one of the top defenses out there. I found it interesting. I thought the Miami and Buffalo game would be a great game. Didn't know who would win. Didn't really expect Miami to win, but they did knock those hard-to-beat Buffalo Bills off, and their defense played well. But I doubt they're on the wire. What defenses are on the wire? Cleveland's on the wire.
Only in your league, man. Like,
because I dropped them.
we're not talking about your team.
Those will be in the GM hour.
Vikings play in New Orleans. You know,
Yes.
James Winston gonna throw a pick or
We'll
two.
throw a pick, and if one of them turns into a pick six, yeah, you could be good to go.
The
So
Raiders play Denver.
Yeah.
And Mr. Wilson.
The Lions play in Seattle. Seattle looks terrible right now. That could work out.
You can flip a coin. The Giants play the Bears, and the Bears play the Giants. Looking at it,
you can grab either one of them, and you'll probably be all right.
20-9 score.
Oh, I don't know. That sounds a little bit high.
Well, I was giving them a defensive touchdown as well.
Yeah, because
Either one.
Bears' offense is non-existent, and the Giants' offense is less than stellar. So yeah, that could be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah.
I think at this point, that's what you're looking at. You're looking at, the game flow, where you think it'll go. But I think, like you said, either one of the Giants or the Bears.
And don't forget, you gotta have a kicker. Somebody may have dropped Harrison Butker. Don't scoop him up if he's on the waivers. I know I saw him in a lot of leagues, about 54% of the leagues he was available. So, and he'll be back.
Yeah, I'm not worried about my kicker.
I know you're not.
Getting pretty good points from my kicker. I'm not.
Wait, how many did you lose? How many did you lose by this week?
How about 2 field goals? Matter of fact, just one long field goal I'd have probably been good.
Silence is golden.
Man. So we got one winless team left out there in the Raiders, I believe. Do they turn it around? Do they make the postseason?
Well, they got Denver next week, so
that's one win.
Should have a win, right?
Yeah.
Should have a win.
Did they make the postseason? I don't think so. Not in the 8. Well, you got the Chargers and the Chiefs in the AFC West.
Yeah.
I don't see it unless they get that extra playoff position that they put out there. But I don't see the Raiders turning it around, which makes me nervous for Devontae Adams and his outfit.
Right, and I can only imagine how he feels. Well, he probably feels good with all that money. He good.
Right, yeah. He can just put that in his pillow. I mean,
cry your tears on your money pillow.
Right.
What is going on with them though?
I don't know. They're playing.
Why are they
Carr is not doing terribly. You can't point at one thing. If you're gonna point at something, I guess you should point at the defense. You're letting the other team outscore you.
Yeah, it's the only thing I can see.
So what we got?
Then we flip from one winless team to 2 undefeated teams left. Are they for real? There are some skeptics that say the Eagles have not played the level of competition that Miami has, which is understandable. I get that. But I believe both teams are legitimate on both sides of the ball. So why not? Well, I already know the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. How you feel about Miami?
I mean, I might buy a ticket to the Super Bowl too, but I'm just saying the Eagles do look nice. They look nice on all three levels: offense, defense, and special teams. And offense, defense, special teams. But Miami the same way. So it's not a fluke that they're both undefeated. It is what it is, and they have solid teams. Miami's concern is with Tua's health. I know he had the injury, and then also they reported also a back injury. So we'll be able to see this Thursday. I believe Miami plays Cincinnati, and so will Cincinnati be able to capitalize off of that? Will Tyreek Hill get back into who he's supposed to be? Will Waddle be a thing again? So we'll have to see what happens this Thursday. I think this will be a good telling sign. You have the reigning AFC champs versus who could be the up and coming AFC champs. So it'll be a good battle.
Now, I don't know. I'm really concerned about Tua. I don't know how he came back out there. The dude couldn't walk. Like, he got his bell rung, and he was like, he stumbled and everything. I tried to get up and was stumbling. So to see him come back out, finish that game, and win it, hey, kudos to him, man.
Maybe he was watching. Maybe he watched Herbert out of the Chargers. And we're like, well, if he can come back and play with basically no ribs, then I can probably
you know what I'm saying? No ribs.
They took him in a tent and
slapped him around a little bit. Slap you back to fantasy reality, baby.
Yeah.
But he
word. I like that.
That's good. I mean, like to see the toughness.
Yeah.
Came back out. We'll see. I mean, I don't like the Thursday game, and I'm a little nervous about Waddle. He has a groin injury right now, so he may not play.
And would it be in a short week? They may give him that, or limit his reps or something. So that is a concern.
And I'm still playing Cincinnati's defense.
Oh, okay.
I'm not scared.
All right. Do you have another defense that you're considering?
I have to check.
The Giants and Bears are available.
I have to go back into the lab and see what I can concoct.
Yeah, okay.
We got London games this week, 9:30 a.m. Everybody remember that.
Which two games aren't there two?
I believe so.
You mean in the season, or you mean on Saturday?
No, this week.
Early games, London games.
I think there's two games in London this week. I'm not sure.
In Cali, what time that? Well, Cali.
6:30 in the morning.
6:30 a.m. I'm not that big a football fan.
I normally wake up early on Sunday I set my lineup Saturday night, and then I wake up Sunday to catch whatever inactives there are, and then I'll reset and just check it. So yeah, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Who's in that game? Who's in the London game? It'll be what it's gonna be.
New Orleans,
Minnesota and New Orleans. Yeah. Well, I
I
don't have any wobblers in those teams. It'll be Cook.
Oh, Davis is gonna light London up. Hell to the Queen, boy. Is that where she was from?
Yes.
Too soon?
It's not, but the answer to your question is yes, in the affirmative, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I know she was from somewhere out there.
The team already has issues. You worried about playing Jameis Winston?
Yeah, man. Hey, this is his week. Actually, like I said, he's been putting up points for me. He threw a few interceptions last week, but still got me 50 points. So I'm not complaining. Go ahead and throw all the interceptions you want, and then make up for it by throwing 350, 400 yards, and a couple TDs.
If Olave is helping him out.
Mm-hmm.
Olave is definitely helping him out.
One thing we didn't discuss, how'd you do in Face of the Fantasy?
Yeah, Jay, how'd you do in Face of the Fantasy, Jay?
True.
I won.
Oh, wow. We're twinning.
And then
We're twinning.
You undefeated too?
Nah, not in Face of the Fantasy, but I did get a win this past
nah,
week.
he should be 1-2, but he's 2-1.
Am I?
He just disappeared.
Yeah,
I don't even know if I'm undefeated.
But don't you fret. I think you play Buffalo defense.
Definitely played Buffalo defense.
But Mr. Sutton,
Yeah, that was again, lost that by 6.5 points to Guru. And simply just could have had different tight end. But I hadn't seen anything from Njoku yet, so I don't it is what it is. I can't wallow in it,
Yeah, don't wallow in it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Let's go by the site predictions.
Bateman let me know. I'm not doing that. Bateman let me down too. I had Bateman in my starting lineup over Metcalf because Metcalf was getting on my nerves. That would have won. Either one of those changes, it would have been different. But
you know what? I didn't see the game, but I saw Metcalf catch a touchdown or two. How'd he do this week?
Yeah, he did all right. He had what this guy do?
Well, what I would suggest is that you just click that optimize button.
I'm not doing it.
And walk away.
He had 5 receptions, 64 yards, an 18-yard touchdown. Not too bad. That maximize button don't work either. I did that a couple years ago, and it shot me in the foot.
Optimize Prime.
I gotta tell y'all, Jung Phil was complaining to me just this morning, like, I can't find my optimize button. It don't work no more. I don't even know where it is, so I couldn't help him. I said, I don't know where the optimize button is. I just set my lineup, man.
Yeah, we know.
So, but it's bounce back time. I'm ready to bounce back for the season. It's about to go down. We got some intriguing matchups this week. I don't think I'm playing either of you. So y'all, you can rest easy.
Actually, early in the season, it's not the worst thing to have a loss or two, as long as you got at least one win, because it also puts you a lot higher on the waiver wires.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, it's not optimal, but at least you got first.
Right, it's not the ideal situation.
Yeah, but you have first dibs at some of these, the Khalil Herberts of the world, the Jamal Williams.
Right.
You have first shot at those guys.
So who you guys are considering more? Herbert, Williams, or Madison? Because Madison is not owned, and I think he's like 70%. Who are those things? How would you rank them? Madison.
Yeah.
Then.
Then it's either one. I mean, Madison would be my first choice. So, and I'm probably like at the very top of the waiver wire. So I'll be all right.
Well, since I already have Herbert, I wouldn't mind saying that I would go Herbert because Herbert is, after Madison, but Herbert is somebody that I think that can be utilized for the remainder of the season. I don't see David Montgomery. If he comes back, he may not come back to a job. Herbert has already been eating into his job, whereas Williams, while he does take the goal line stances, he's not a 3-down back. And so that's where you might see a lot more of the young gun. What's his name? Evans, not Evans.
And I can't stand a back like that where I got to rely on you getting a touchdown for you to get me points. I can't run with that.
Herbert's my top choice out of there, just because of that same reason, Guru. The fact that he's going to get touches anyway. And it seems like they're tired of, it's time for a change. It's time for a change over there in Chicago.
Wait, so when that is the only reason I don't have him first is because it's Chicago and their offense. Nobody does a lot.
Oh, I thought when he said time for a change, I thought you meant it was Mooney time.
No.
No,
it's
not. Can I interest you in the
Dropped
Mooney?
him last week.
Yeah,
I know because I picked him up.
I dropped my man. Now, what he might show up this season. You never know.
Now,
Hey,
speaking of that, though, I
we
do want
didn't touch
to.
on something though.
I do want to
What's
mention
up with
something. Oh, go
Mr.
ahead,
Justin Jefferson, guys?
man. I have no shares of him.
Yeah, me either. And I'm glad
That's
I
because I
don't.
couldn't get him.
What he got? And that's 2 weeks in a row. Is that, does he turn it around, or was he a 1-year wonder?
Well, remember they have a new offensive scheme in Minnesota, so it's gonna take some getting used to. I kind of think that if you watch the game, I think that in week 1 they still were kind of going off of what their normal scheme was and just trying to try to bring it along. But I think that the more they got into it, they try to go into the new scheme, and that scheme does not work. If you look, Cook, I mean, it has crippled the entire offense. Cook, nothing. JJ, nothing. I mean, what Thielen got a touchdown. I think the last 2 games, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had a touchdown both the last 2 games. So it's definitely not benefiting their number ones.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
They got a new offensive coordinator over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he may not have a job for long.
Yeah.
And then now Cook's shoulder dislocated. So I think it's time for Dalvin to bring out the device from last year. Because when we thought he was dead to water and he came back, I want to say week 13 or so, and he had that device, man, he ran for 200
yeah, so let's bring it out earlier.
Right. Matter of fact, let's just make it a part of the uniform.
Right.
Because, that's when you can run with no worries in the world. Like, dislocated shoulder? No problem.
I've got a spare.
Bam. You take that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to see. Week 4 is upon us. We got a couple of days to get these lineups set. Make sure you put your waivers in tonight, guys, because that is running in the morning, everybody. In most leagues, those waivers run tonight. So you want to make sure you are ready and have your waivers put in. Any last thoughts for these guys?
Yeah, let me just add 2 things. One, just remember, I've seen it in a couple of leagues. People make this mistake. If you have a running back or a wide receiver that you're playing in your flex, take them out of your flex if they're playing on Thursday night. So if you have somebody in the Miami, Waddle maybe, or probably not Waddle, but if you have somebody in Miami or Cincinnati, the Miami-Cincinnati game on Thursday night, take them out of your flex, put them in their position, because you never know what's going to happen. You may have to pivot and get somebody else. And I've seen people put their flex in their flex position, and then the injury or COVID or anything comes up, and then now all of a sudden you stuck with trying to play Kenny G off the waiver. So you want to make sure you don't have that problem. And the second thing is, we all know waivers run tonight in most leagues except for one crazy league that I'm in, that waivers are all day, every day, all week. But anyway, so waivers are tonight. Don't be afraid to take a peek back after waivers drop, and people who drop somebody, go back and scoop them up. Last week in the league, I don't think Mooney's going to be much, but I did pick him up on one league. Allen Robinson, Alexander Madison, people that were dropped, Cam Akers, somebody that was dropped. So sometimes you can find a lot. You can find a lot on the waiver, and some people, they'll try to drop them in the middle of the night when nobody's looking. Nope, I'm the waiver wire wizard. I watch that waiver wire. I watch that wire all the time, and you never know. You can find a lot of gems. So make sure.
And not only that, you may be looking at somebody on the wire that nobody else in your league is looking at. Might be somebody that you go in after the waivers run. Because I see a lot of people do that. Like they'll go in there after the waivers run. I don't know if they forgot to put their claims in the night before or what, but they'll go in there and you see 3 transactions for one team on Wednesday afternoon.
That's probably strategy, because they don't want to use their waiver position, so they wait till after midnight to clean up the pieces.
Well, it don't matter. Your waiver position becomes 13 if you 26 if you wait. So I don't know that strategy, but yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. It depends on what some leagues, the waivers are based off of just if you use it, then you go to the bottom versus reverse order of the standings. So it's just probably just a league setting.
I suppose.
Just throwing it out there.
All right. Jay, any last thoughts?
Last thoughts. Just this week is week 4. If you been losing a little, I mean, you should be top of the waiver wire. Make sure you're looking at what you need on your team. Don't give up on certain players because they have one bad game. Trust in what you drafted, but try to plug in the holes. So, like I said, sometimes you got a little advantage early in the season if you are losing. Just hope not to be in that position later on in the
But
season.
if you're 0-3, week 6, you need to be 3-3 if you have any shot at the playoffs. Okay. We do have an extra week this season, so we're good to go. But I thank you all for tuning in. We had a couple of people shout out today. The what do you say?
Facebook.
The Con Man checked in on us. Cool McCain checked in on us. We definitely appreciate you liking and sharing. Hit the subscribe button if you're checking us out on YouTube. Otherwise, just like and share. And until Sunday, we'll see you again back here next week, 7:30 on Tuesday, and also on Sunday between that late afternoon game and the night game.
Yes, sir.
All right. And for us, for the Faces of Fantasy, we are tuning out.
Faces out.
Tuning in. Faces out.